Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Starr, and today our guests are Professor Ken Regan. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me on again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Great to have you. And also, Professor um, Dan Fleetwood. Welcome to the show.
Mhm.
Hi, Sasha. Hi, Ken.
Great
Yep,
to have you. And Ken, immediately, let's, without further ado, start with some fascinating games lately
that's
played.
right. Well, there are two games that I've queued up from the Julius Baer Generations Cup Game 12 Rapid Tournament, which was played in a complicated format with a play-in qualifier, then placements for the divisions, then divisions with double elimination, and then finally the grand final. And the grand final were two people who are raring to play a match with each other. Someone said that certainly Carlsen would have played defended his champions title if he had played Alireza Firouzja. Well, they met in the final of this, and after three very eventful draws, a fantastic deciding game. I'm going to try sharing my entire screen.
Okay.
Game in ChessBase as well as in uh, the. So tell me when you see a.
Yes.
Okay. So by the way, I've used ChessBase with ChessBase Cloud to look up the novelties in the two games that I'm presenting, and I'm surprised that the novelty in this game is said to be as early as it was. And not only that, that the predecessor game is one with a sub 2300 player, which actually doesn't count in my reckoning. I use Opening Masters 2300 standard. Okay.
Hmm.
Also interesting is that this 10 minutes plus 2 seconds is classed by ChessBase as blitz, but I count anything 10 minutes or over as rapid. Um, and it matters for which set of basic coefficients I use for my screening. Okay. In any event, the opening seems very normal to me. I mean, it starts out as a double fianchetto, but it goes into more um, trodden paths that one can get from an English opening starting off. And so apparently A5 is the first divergence from well-traveled paths. But I don't know, all these moves look very normal to me. And I have to say about the opening is, for the first 15 moves, they just play chess, but Magnus Carlsen manages to get a definite pull. Um, so so now white plays e4, okay, taking over the center, although, I mean, one thing about this is black is not well equipped to fill in a piece on d4. So white is perfectly able to do this. White is preparing to play d4 himself. So one more preparation is to prevent a black bishop from landing on g4 and pinning the f3 knight. And here we go, d4. And it appears that white has a definite advantage. Again, now this type of structure can occur in King's Indian type lines um, where you don't get a bayonet attack or anything like that. It's a very normal pawn structure. And black's pieces have good squares. Question is, can the weakness on d6 be uncovered? And it doesn't even seem like white is well set up to exploit that. So now queen c8, this might be the first decision. So Firouzja takes a consequential decision not to play a normal move like queen c7 and rook d8 and maybe improving some of the other pieces. Or instead, plays this combination to take advantage of white's knight on d4 being being undefended. So, and white does have to defend the pawn on f3 too. By the way, black must preserve the bishop, so white defends the pawn on g4 by playing f3. So white's bishop is locked in, but this appears to be simply a misjudgment. So let me see if Fritz actually, um, Fritz Deep Fritz 13. That's funny. I thought I had Fritz 17 on this. Okay, I must have mislaid it, but we'll use Deep Fritz 13. Um, Okay, so Deep Fritz 13, yeah, now it's actually starting to recognize white with a slight pull. So does the chess base engine. The chess base engine, which I have over here, when I go to turn 19, let's actually take it up from here. So the analysis is showing about 0.7 after black played this move. Before black played this move, it was, still above 0.50. In fact, the engine was thinking that knight g4 is black's best move. So I actually think that queen c8 was a little strange. So obviously,
these types of positions with that pawn on d6 are
Mhm.
only okay over the board. In correspondence play, black's probably close to lost already.
oh, okay. That's very wow. So in other words, white is better able to find exact moves to put pressure on black's position.
Yeah, that structure is just really hard for black to hold, just because of the kinds of factors that you've been discussing.
Yeah.
White can get threats against the d pawn and usually create a second weakness, and it's just a very long grind with an unpleasant outcome most of the time.
Whereas over the board,
Over the board, of course, the dynamic chances. This is the old. Between the opening and the end game, the gods have placed the middle game. So
and white often allows black a fantastic sack like d5 or b5.
Exactly.
Breakout to happen. Yes. Okay. So anyway, I'll go back to the chess base version. Whoops, that's the other game I'm going to show. So here we go. Okay, so it's less to be disturbed by end. So now black plays queen c7, queen d2, piling up on the d pawn, and white now is going to get rid of the dark squared bishops. So that also favors white. It did give black time to defend on d6, but white has control of this position. Now, actually, around here, black is doing fine according to both of the engines. So somewhere white missed, somewhere white didn't crack the whip. Let's see what chess base's engine says here. This is just very interesting strategically for what's happening. Yes, now knight c3 maybe. No, queen d2. Yeah, it's let's see. Yeah, the engine wants white to play knight e2 right away without wasting time on queen d2. That's probably the essence of where white lost a step. Okay, but anyway, obviously this is still just going to be playing chess. White actually got better the position again, so I think maybe the engine. I don't know where did the engine saying black should have captured and then played a4 to get counterplay. There's a very instructive moment in this game later on with pins. So that's it. So black should capture and play a4 and get counterplay. But defending the d pawn very natural gives the initiative back over to white. Okay, so queen e7. I'll continue from here. Plays knight d4. Okay, now white now is able to broadly advance, and that's really the element in the position. White can pair advances also on the queen side. There's no comparable counterplay that black can undertake except to play a4. Okay, black defends against a latent threat of g5, which would have opened up the diagonal in certain positions. Here comes a4. Okay, and now very important juncture in this game, and you can see in the upper right hand corner. So actually I should do this on chess base if I want to pose it as a riddle. So is black's knight attacked?
Not really, because there will be a pin of knight on d4.
Right. So the best move for black is to play a3 and continue to try to get counterplay, maybe giving up the pawn, but anyway, coming in with the knight. If white allows it, the knight can go to a4 and then relocate to b6 and the c4 pawn is already in take to black's bishop.
Mhm.
One would expect Firouzja to find that, but if I were presented with this position, I would need more than rapid time controls to sort through all of that.
Yeah, that's true. You worry, are there discovered attacks against
Exactly.
Yeah. So obviously the engine can play much better. Let's see, at this juncture in the game, actually, with my browser window, the players were, well, Firouzja was down a minute and a half. So Carlsen also had a big time advantage, and that must be reckoned as an important part of the game. Now here, however, though, Carlsen could have just maintained his position and not tried to advance right away. And
Why wouldn't he play a3, such a simple move?
Yeah, a3 is definitely a very good simple move in this position.
In my opinion, it's obvious.
Yeah. So anyway, so b5 takes, rook c8. Now it's very instructive how white is. So b5 shows in red, by the way, as a mistake. So now that we get a very so black is going to win a pawn, white will eventually win it back, and then queen e3 is a mistake, should have gone to f3 according to the engine, but we can't criticize some of these moves too much. But the defect is that this enables black to jailbreak with d5, and this is where the pin on the e file now comes into play, and it will be a recurring theme. So e5, knight c7, capture, and again we're pinned on e5. So white captures the d pawn. Okay, and now, so now takes, queen e6, a good move, and here, so white relieves the pin, and here is where black misses a key point in the game. So black is very close to achieving equality, and to get equality, must capture this way. Okay, and so point is, if white takes with the rook, then this a pawn is hanging with check.
Right.
And if white captures with the pawn, then black is able to get the advantage. Well, actually, just calmly play king h7. Okay,
and what if Ken? What if black will play in this position? Okay, take, and is queen g4 possible?
Let's see. Take. After take.
Okay, hold on. And white could improve in this position. Instead of taking pawn e5, play f5 himself.
Okay, let's see. f5. F5, queen. What if the black's queen goes to b6? Queen c6, actually. Okay, let's see. Will we take a pawn? Is the rook ending bad? Maybe the rook ending's bad. Yeah, the rook ending is fine for black.
Okay, you take, and king h3.
Yeah, well, I've got two queenside pawns, and you've got three triple G pawns.
I'd be worried as white here.
Yeah,
doesn't work.
I'd be afraid I'd lose that one.
Yep. But anyway, so Firouzja, however, though, lashed at this way and missed a tremendous move by white. So now white plays two tremendous moves that block the position. Block access to a pass pawn. So here,
wow.
Now you can't take the
That's
pawn.
impressive.
G6 is hanging. Yes.
And that's with less than a minute on the clock. So he probably just played that instantly. My goodness.
He took 30 seconds on it, according to
he? Okay, yeah. Wow.
But, still, yes, it's a great move, and the move that follows is even better. So black guards G6, and now F5. And the whole purpose of that is that it is going to sever black queen ability to capture on E6. So now white is actually winning, and after black takes, now this is going to create a queen ending, and it doesn't matter how many pawns you have in a queen ending, it's
exactly right.
Pawn.
Yep.
But this game is going to take one more spectacular turn. So black doesn't give up, and white missteps his play. I don't really know what the point of those moves were, but white cashes in. Okay, so now white is going to escort the pawn to the queening square. The engine shows an advantage of a whole queen, but here black is trying to counterattack. And whoops, oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to go to the end of the game here. Hit something. Okay. So now this, just very interesting here. Now white can just ignore what black is doing. So king f1, because black's queen is pinned. So, however, white played g4.
You've got to be awfully cold-blooded to play king f1 in that position.
I guess so. Okay. All right. So g4, yeah, g4. Black's queen can't take it. So f5, trying to make trouble again. White plays e7, and now allowing black's queen to come in. Now there's a very neat juncture, and actually this is where I'm going to go back to chess base. Oops, sorry. Yeah, this is the game. So let me go back down to here, but make it so that you can't see the moves here. So this is a really interesting quiz position. So we play this dynamic move. White's king is in check. Where should white's king go? So the idea is that, oh, you've got Fritz showing down here. Okay. Okay. So the idea is, all right, I should, I guess I can't completely hide the engine evaluation. Oh, I can X this. Okay, there we go. So where should white's king go? So
he needs to go somewhere where at some point he's not checked so that he can play queen and mate.
Right, that's right. So he needs to go somewhere where black's queen is not able to get behind the king to give check. So d3 or king d2 will win. Black can play, even on d3, black can play f2 check, but then you're going to come back to e2. Black can make a queen and then start checking you again. But white's king, so the question is, can black stop white's king from reaching this square, whereupon white will be able to hide from checks? So the fault of this move is that black could have played queen e1 check.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on queen e1 check, now going back to this thing here, the engine is able to calculate that white cannot reach the square. Black will check on diagonals. When white's king goes to c5, we'll check on e3. White can't interpose the queen because the pawn will hang. And you can, let's see, so maybe, no, but maybe you can't check on e3. Well, let's just see. All right. So I'll play, the real problem is I can't go to the d file because I'm going to lose the queen. That's actually the much more simple. So I have to play to f4. Yep. Oh, but then black can play here.
And
we go ring around the rosy. Yes. So, okay, so I have to take this pawn and then queen f1 check, do this. And the engine says queen e1 check. And when I try to escape by f4, black goes here and doesn't let me.
Yeah, he's just
never going to get to the d file. Never going to get over there. So anyway, so black blundered by playing f2, of course, only with 2 seconds and versus 4 seconds left on the clock. This is just a free-for-all. But now white is going to be able to hide on the queen side. At least the analysis is always saying so, although it takes 2 tries. Okay. So for some reason, this was an abortive try. Black blocked access. So white went over here. Now maybe queen e3 check was a better try. But anyway, now black's queen is too far away. And crucially, white is able to get to c7 now, and game over.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. But why wasn't it here before? King d6, queen a5 check. Why couldn't white play? Let's see, queen c5. Why didn't white have this earlier in the game? Queen e3 check, king b4, queen b6 check. That's why. So queen c5, queen a5 check, king d6. Yeah, that's how black kept white out, whereas the queen was around the other side before. Okay, now the other game is even wilder. So let me actually go to it on chess.com. Okay, so this is an English opening, but one of the more trenchant versions. So this game was between Fabiano Caruana and Vincent Keimer in the Division 3. So these people are already out of the running for first place, although you can qualify for placement in the future events of the Champions Chess Tour, run online by chess.com. Again, Game 12 Blitz. So this game certainly had meaning, and Fabiano Caruana eventually prevailed in Division 3. Okay, so this is very trenchant English play where black dares to play e4, drives white's knight away, and in fact, after d6, white's knight on h4 is in danger of being trapped, but white doesn't care. He castles. So he castles in order to prepare a pawn storm on the king side. And then after g5, and white plays d4 first. Now, the point of this is that if black takes the knight, white goes bishop g5 with an unstoppable pin on f6. All right, so black reinforces the g5 square. Now white's knight really is attacked, and but it's also trapped. But white has an amazing move. So move of the year, says Tarjay Svensson. Well, I saw this.
Holy cow, that looks like a typographical error.
Yeah, it looks like you touched your pawn and had to move it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
No way.
No way is right. So ChessBase Cloud already has this labeled as a top novelty. G4. Previously,
That's
white
insane.
captured on B4 and played Queen F3 to get normal compensation for the piece. So this is what's wild. So previously, white captured on B4 and then played F3 to engage black's center. So black had to capture on H4, then white can take on H6, attack black's rook, and capture on E4, and has two pawns and a good center, and black's ruined king side as compensation. So it's a given that white is sacrificing the knight. But this is just wild. This is combining with a pawn storm there, and and just gaining space, preventing black's defenders from occupying squares. And curiously enough, one of black's Achilles' heels in this position is that the b4 bishop might be trapped, which almost happened in the other game I showed. And the really wildest thing is if black plays g takes h4, there's no Fritz showing. What's white's follow-up? What do you think white's follow-up should be in this position? There are two good moves, but one of the good moves is amazingly.
Is a bishop h6?
Yeah, bishop h6 is one of the moves, although it, I'll show analysis of it. It sort of gives away a lot of the pep in white's position.
G5?
Well, you knew what it was, so I shouldn't say.
You know what it is?
Yeah, it's H3.
Right. Yes, and I don't know if that on highest analysis. So this is, sang-froid, cold blood, or, so
It's like,
you just say, I dare you to try to defend this position.
It's like play a move now.
Yeah, play move. King G7 runs into a G5. Other things run into. So it turns out that black's best in this position is to capture on D5 and then retreat the knight. But now here comes the trapping of black's bishop. And black can rescue this by C5, but it makes other positional concessions. And we can just take stock of this position. White is going to win 2 pawns here. The H6 pawn and the E4 pawn are gone. And when the H4 pawn falls, then white is going to have 3 pawns to the piece, and a lot of white's pawns going to rush in the center. Now, the engine does think that black is still better in this position, but obviously, though, Caruana did say on his broadcast with Christian Chirillo that this was preparation.
Well,
So
it had to be. I
that-
mean, you would have to be. I don't know who. Well, you would have to be like Alpha Zero or Stockfish to see G4.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not remotely human.
Yeah. So anyway, so we have after I'll show the chess.com analysis engine because that's was Stockfish 11, I think, for variation. It doesn't say. Torch. Actually, it's chess.com's own proprietary super engine. So here it's actually wanting to play bishop to h6. Previously, when I looked at this, the moves were much closer. So you could play bishop takes h6, although white is not necessarily going to rush to capture black's rook. The bishop is actually a better piece. So this has black playing h3 to and queen g4. By the way, just h3 by itself is quite a reasonable move. Knight takes d5, capture, then knight e7, then queen h4, c5. This probably isn't the prepped way to play, but bishop 8 takes h6, and let's see. Yeah, rook e8 is a reasonable move. Bishop. Actually, let's attack the queen first. Then let's see. We're going to save our rook. No, we're not going to bother saving our rook. Well, rook e8 is a reasonable move. So this is apparently just a position. White plays bishop g5. White is going to round up the pawn on h4. Even if white has to exchange the pawn on e4, that will open up the position for white. So, it's chess. What can we say? Black, maybe an engine would thread this to be slightly better. But as said, there are other things that white can do. Anyway, Keimer, I guess, was not prepared for this and played a move that was trying to reinforce e4. But now white has a definite advantage with knight f5, although the game is still going to get very surreal. So black captures. I guess that was part of the idea. Now with f3. One of the points, by the way, in a variation I didn't show, was that f3 and takes on e4 was going to open an attack on f6. You see, so that doesn't happen here. So knight takes h7. Now black is going to be a piece down rather than a piece up. So white. So this apparently is a very good thing to throw in. White's knight was going to hang on f5 otherwise. Here we go. So black now trying to, but now the Achilles heel of the bishop being trapped. So black comes in here. Okay, so we are going to be effectively a piece down now. F4 takes. We capture that. Here comes black's queen, and now here, this is the one place where Caruana gave Keimer just bishop takes f4. Simple chess is very strong. And this, however, though, is a case where a human judgment, I think, would say that white would be winning after this, but the engine sees a little further. So the chance that Keimer had was to hoover off a lot of pieces. Yep. Now, after all these trades, it looks to the naked eye like black is going to get mated. Okay, so white now able to play rook g4 check. Okay, so we have to. It's actually, we can't hide on f8 as well, because then rook e2 is going to corner the black king. So the king has to come out to f6. Rook f2 check, king e6. Better than king e7. And also the fact that white has this, creating a passed pawn, it just looks lost for black, but it's actually hard for white to prove it. So I don't know what you would think.
Well, you're probably not going to find that with 3 minutes on the clock.
Right. Yeah, probably not. So it's say it was a decision that so with 3 minutes, maybe in blitz chess mode, you play a move that's threatening something, but white it just brings white's pieces into the defense, and now so we calculate this better, and so queen h7 check. It's not only defending h3, it's mate next move with bishop h6. So definitely a surreal game, especially with this pile up on the h file at the end.
So this reminds me of I don't know, my memory may or may not be accurate on this, but I have this memory of like an old Larry Evans column about a position where black basically plays b5 early in the opening, when white can essentially just capture the pawn, and black goes on to get a comfortable position. And he offered it as an example of Dadaism in chess.
Okay. Huh.
And that g4 is
Yeah.
very much reminiscent of that.
Right.
Just
yeah.
data.
It's
A
even
data
more
like
revolutionary than B5.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
B5
Yeah.
reminds me of Banker Gambit or some others, but G4, it's insane.
That's stunning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. So let me find the position where F3 was a consideration. Let's see. Maybe it was from take on H4, and let's see, and let's see where. Yeah, let's see if I can remember the analysis that I went through. Yeah, I forget where there was a line where white plays F3, and the fact that white is attacking F6 after it takes E4. Maybe it's let's see. If black plays H3 here? Let's see.
This is why white move H3
Oh.
is handsome
Oh,
because
that's right. It is.
playing H3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's not that right away though. Yeah, black playing H3. Yeah. So there is a position where white can play F3 profitably.
Maybe
And
later.
unfortunately, I've forgotten where it is. Where it is. Just as an example of all the latent play in the position. So anyway, well, the main line, my bishop takes H6, and then knight takes G4, or knight takes D5, maybe better.
Wow. Very,
Yeah.
very impressive game, Ken. Thank you so much for showing us your analysis. Absolutely incredible. And I think G4 is just as amazing move as next one, H3. So both of these moves, in my opinion, are mind-boggling. Really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Really, it's
Well, see, I mean, this was the kind of stuff that Alpha Zero was playing against Stockfish, and people were saying, this is not chess. This is something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, literally the only justification of that move is that it seems to lead to a good position.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a new game based on chess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it probably applies only in that very position.
Exactly.
The dangling of black's bishop on B4 is probably a important element as well. So.
Actually, some of these positions from that point on remind me chess 960, where there are some bizarre and crazy positions. And this after G4, that almost like chess 960 position.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just incredible and very rich tactically. There are so many opportunities, and almost some of them are better than others. And it's very difficult to find H3. I would never even think about playing G4, but even less so H3.
Yeah.
I think H3 is even more difficult move to find than G4, although G4 is mind-boggling itself. Well, thank you so much for today's program. I think we're witnessing absolutely fantastic chess on the board and off the board and online, offline. It's just incredible. And have a great
US championships later this month.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, same place, same time.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Hi, Dan. So